Hello there, my name is Payal Narayani and welcome to this video series. यहाँ हम कवर कर रहे हैं पूनम दलाल दहिया की एंशिएंट एंड मेडिवल इंडिया की 3rd एडिशन, जो कि लेटेस्ट एडिशन है. इस किताब को हम ट्रूली रीड करेंगे और जहाँ ज़रूरत पड़ेगी वहाँ हम साथ ही साथ UPSC एंड स्टेट सर्विसेज में आए हुए प्रीवियस ईयर के क्वेश्चंस भी डिस्कस करेंगे. एंड इस सीरीज़ में वीडियोज़ लगभग 30 to 35 मिनट्स के होंगे, बड़े इफेक्टिव होंगे और हम ऑलमोस्ट 40 to 45 लेक्चर्स में ये पूरी किताब कवर करेंगे. और अगर आपने ये सीरीज़ 3 to 4 टाइम्स देख ली तो बिल्कुल ये किताब आपके दिमाग में छप जाएगी एंड ट्रस्ट मी, आपकी एक्यूरेसी भी काफ़ी इंक्रीज़ हो जाएगी. साथ ही साथ आपका रिवीजन भी काफ़ी आसान हो जाएगा. सो अगर आपको रिवीजन के साथ साथ वैल्यू एडिशन भी करना है तो ये सीरीज़ पूरी फॉलो करें. आपको बस आपके पास ये किताब रखकर मुझे सुनना है एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स मार्क करने हैं. So without any further delay, let's get started.
हेलो देयर, वेलकम बैक टू द चैनल घटना सूत्र. यहाँ हम कवर कर रहे हैं पूनम दलाल दहिया की एंशिएंट एंड मेडिवल इंडिया 3rd एडिशन, जो कि लेटेस्ट एडिशन है. और हम आज शुरू कर रहे हैं विद द टॉपिक मनसबदारी सिस्टम. एंड बिफोर वी मूव अहेड, आप इस टॉपिक को ट्रिपल स्टार मार्क कर लीजिए, क्योंकि इसके ऊपर UPSC में 1994 एंड 1996 में सवाल पूछे गए थे. साथ ही BPSC में 2019 में एंड झारखंड PCS में 2023 में एंड UPPCS में मल्टीपल ईयर्स में इसके ऊपर सवाल पूछे गए थे. सो ट्रिपल स्टार मार्क दिस टॉपिक एंड दिस इज़ हाईली इम्पॉर्टेंट. मनसबदारी सिस्टम. Akbar introduced the Mansabdari system in his administration. Under this system, every officer, Mansabdar, was assigned a rank, Mansab. The lowest rank was 10 and the highest was 5,000 for the nobles. Prince of royal blood received even higher rank. For instance, Raja Man Singh and Mirza Aziz Koka were honored with a rank of 7,000 each. The Mansab rank was not hereditary. All appointment and promotions as well as dismissal were directly made by the emperor. The rank were further divided into two, Zat and Savar. Zat means personal, apart from fixing the personal status of a person in the administration hierarchy. It also decided salary due to him. Savar rank indicate the number of cavalryman Savar a person was required to maintain. There were further 3 categories in which Mansab rank. First category, a person who was required to maintain as many Savar as his Zat rank. For example, in the first category, Zat and Savar rank were equal, 7,000 and 7,000. Second category, if a person maintained half or more Savar as his Zat rank. For example, in the second category, Savar rank was lower than the Zat but stopped at half or 50% of the Zat rank, 7,000/4,000. Third category, if the person maintains less than half as his Zat rank. For example, in the third category, Savar rank was lower than the 50% of the Zat rank, 7,000 and 3,000. Thus, the Savar rank was either equal to or less than the Zat. Even if the Savar rank was higher, the Mansabdar's position in the official hierarchy would not be affected. It would be decided by the Zat rank. For example, a Mansabdar with 4,000 Zat and 2,000 Savar was higher in the rank than a Mansabdar of 30,000 Zat and 3,000 Savar. Also, different terminologies were used for persons holding different ranks. For instance, person holding 500 Zat were called Mansabdar, and those from 500 to 2,500 were called Amirs, and those holding rank of 2,500 and above were called as Amir-e-Umda or Umda-e-Azam. Interestingly, an Amir-el-Umda could have another Amir or Mansabdar serve under him, but not so as Mansabdar. The Chehra, descriptive role of every soldier, and dark system, branding of horses, was followed. Every noble had to bring his contingent for periodic inspection before persons appointed by the emperor for the purpose. Ideally, 10-20 rules was followed, which meant that for every 10 cavalrymen, the Mansabdar had to maintain 20 horses. Interestingly, a Savar with only one horse was considered to be only half a Savar. In order to weaken the force of tribalism and parochialism, adequate care was taken to draw mixed contingent of noble from all the group. Mughal, Pathans, Hindustani, and Rajput. Apart from cavalrymen, bowmen, musketeers, sappers, and miners were also recruited in the contingents. Guns and siege guns for breaching forts were also maintained. The salary due to the soldiers was added to the personal salary of the Mansabdar, who was paid by assigning to him a jagir and sometimes in cash. The Mansabdar were paid handsomely. As a matter of fact, the Mughal Mansabdar formed the highest paid service in the world. In addition of meeting his personal expenses, the Mansabdar had to maintain a stipulated quota of horses, elephants, camels, mules, and carts. However, later these were maintained centrally, but the Mansabdar had to pay for them out of his salary. The only drawback of Mughals was lack of strong and effective navy. Jagirdari system. Ikta of the Sultanate period is modified form of Jagir under the Mughals. The Jagirdari system, that is to say, the system of assignments of revenue for particular territory of the nobles for their service to the state, was an integral part of the Mansabdari system. In case the payment was made through the assignment of Jagir, the office of the central divan would identify parganas, the sum of total of whose jama was equal to the salary claimed of the Mansabdar. In case the recorded jama was in excess of salary claimed, the assignee was required to deposit the balance with the central treasury. On the other hand, if it was less than the salary claimed, the shortfall was paid from the treasury. There were various types of jagirs. Tankha Jagir, which were given in lieu of salaries and were transferable every 3 to 4 years. Mashurat Jagir, which were given on certain conditions. Watan Jagir, which were assigned to Zamindar or Rajas in local domain. Watan Jagirs were hereditary and non-transferable. When a Zamindar was made a Mansabdar, he was given Tankha Jagir apart from his Watan Jagir at another place, if the salary of his rank was more than the income from his Watan Jagir. Altam Jagir, which were given to Muslim nobles in their family town or a place of birth. Along with Jagirdar, there were Zamindars, who were the people who had the hereditary right over the produce of the land and claim a direct share in the peasant produce, which varied from 10% to 25% in different parts of the country. Zamindar also assisted the state and the Jagirdars in the collection of land revenue. They had their own armed force and generally lived in forts or grihas, which was both a place of refuge and a status symbol. It should be noted that the Zamindar was not the owner of all the land comprising his Zamindari. The peasants who actually cultivated the land could not be disposed as long as they paid the land revenue. Thus, the Zamindars and the peasants had their own hereditary right in land. It is pertinent to note that apart from revenue collected duties, Zamindar had to render military duties and perform khidmat, such as rendering soldiers to fill the rank of royal army at the time of need and offer gift at the royal court. Religious policy. Akbar rose to fame in the pages of history due to his religious policy. Various factors were responsible for his religious ideas. The most important among them were his early contact with the Sufi saint, the teaching of a tutor, Abdul Latif, and his marriage with Rajput women, his association with intellectual giants like Sheikh Mubarak and his two illustrious sons, Abul Faizi and Abul Fazl, and his ambition to establish an empire in Hindustan. In the beginning of his life, Akbar was a pious Muslim. He regularly visited the shrine of Sheikh Moinuddin Chishti at Ajmer. Later, he became a sceptical Muslim. Soon after marrying Jodhabai of Amber, he abolished the pilgrim tax. In 1562 CE, he abolished jizya. He allowed his Hindu wives to worship their own god. In 1575 CE, he constructed the Ibadat Khana, Hall of Prayers, at his new capital Fatehpur Sikri, wherein Akbar invited learned scholars from all religions like Hinduism, Jainism, Christianity and Zoroastrianism, and he used to conduct religious discussion with them. Some of these scholars were Purushottam Das, Hindu; Dastur Maharjirana, Parsi of Navsari; Hira Vijay Suri, Jain saint of Kaitwar; Aquila and Montserrat, Christians sent by the Portuguese on Akbar's request. So अगर हम देखें कि पोर्टुगीज़ सबसे पहले किन की कोर्ट में आए थे, तो इट वॉज अकबर. He disliked the interference of the Muslim ulamas in political matters. In 1579, he issued the infallibility decree by which he asserted his religious power. In 1582 CE, he promulgated a new religion called Din Ilahi or Tawhind Ilahi, divine monotheism, which believe in one God and in Sulekul, peace to all. It contained the good points of all religions and basics were rational. However, his new faith proved to be a failure. It fizzled out after his death. Even during his lifetime, it only following included Birbal, Abu Fazl and Abul Faizi. Akbar's Navratna. Akbar, despite his illiteracy, was a great lover of the artists and intellectuals. His passion for knowledge and interest in learning from great minds attracted him to men of genius of his court. 9 of these coteries were known as Akbar's Navratna or 9 jewels. Akbar's Navratna. Abu Fazl wrote Ain Akbari and Akbarnama. So, जैसे कि मैंने पहले बताया है, whenever we talk about any of the author or the work done by the author, you need to remember them and highlight the name, ठीक है, क्योंकि इसमें कई बार match the pairs आते हैं. So, mark this topic important. Abu Fazl wrote Ain Akbari and Akbarnama. Led Mughal imperial army in the wars in Deccan, was murdered by Bir Singh Bundela on the order of Prince Salim. Faizi. Historian Abu Fazl's brother, a Persian poet, translated Leelavati into Persian, a work on mathematics, and under his supervision, Mahabharata was translated into the Persian language. Fakir Ezzuddin. He was a Sufi mystic and one of the chief advisor of Akbar. तानसेन. अब आप तानसेन के टॉपिक को तो ट्रिपल स्टार मार्क कर लीजिए, क्योंकि इसके ऊपर हाल ही में यूपीएससी की एग्जामिनेशन में 2019 में सवाल पूछा गया था, साथ ही यूपीपीसीएस की एग्ज़ाम में 2010 में एंड एमपीपीसीएस की एग्ज़ाम में 2010 में इसके ऊपर सवाल आया था. ठीक है, सो ट्रिपल स्टार मार्क दिस टॉपिक. तानसेन, ग्रेट म्यूजिशियन, Hindu of Gwalior, served as a court musician to King Ramchandra, who gave him the title of Tansen. Accepted Islam at the hands of the great Sufi mystic saint Muhammad Ghaus of Gwalior. It is believed that he could bring rain and fire through singing the ragas Meghamalar and Deepak respectively. He composed Drupad on Hindu gods and goddesses along with inventing many ragas. He also composed songs on his patrons. Akbar gave him the honorific title Mia. Raja Birbal, Mahesh Das, courtier to whom Akbar gave the title of both the Raja and Birbal, died fighting Yusuf Shahis on northwest frontier. Raja Todermal, finance minister, overlooked revenue system, introduced standard weights and measures, revenue district and officers. Earlier worked under Shah Suri. In 1582 CE, Akbar bestowed on him with the title of Diwan-e Ashraf. Raja Man Singh was a Mansabdar, grandson of Akbar's father-in-law and one of his trusted general. Abdul Rahim Khani Khana, great poet, son of Behram Khan, although a Muslim by birth, a devotee of Lord Krishna, translated Babarnama into Turki. Mirza Aziz Koka. He was also known as Khan-e-Azam or Kotlash and was one of the leading nobles and also the foster brother of Akbar. He also served as the Subedar of Gujarat. Mughal dynasty after Akbar. Jahangir/Salim 1605 to 1627 CE. अब आप जहांगीर के टॉपिक को ट्रिपल स्टार मार्क कर लीजिए, क्योंकि इनके ऊपर यूपीएससी में 2019 में सवाल आया था एंड छत्तीसगढ़ पीसीएस में 2017 में एंड साथ ही यूपी पीसीएस में 2003 में, 2001 में एंड 2010 एंड 12 में भी इसके ऊपर सवाल आया था. So it makes this topic highly important. So triple star mark this. Jahangir 1605 to 1627 CE. Jodhabai's and Akbar's eldest son was named Salim after the blessing of Sheikh Salim Chishti. Revolted against Akbar in 1599 CE. After Akbar's death, he was crowned at Agra in 1605 CE and assumed the title of Nuruddin Muhammad Jahangir, conqueror of the world. In 1611, he married Mehrunisa, widow of Sher Afghani. He gave her the title of Noor Jahan, light of the world, and her father, Kyaz Beg, was given the title of Itmadullah. Nur Jahan had a great influence on Jahangir's life and dominated the royal household and set a new fashion based on Persian tradition. She encouraged Persian arts and culture in the court. She was given the status of Padshah Begum and was the only woman in Mughal Darbar. The coins were stuck in her name and all royal firmans also had her name. She was a constant companion of Jagir and even joined him in his hunting. A lot of members of her family benefited from this alliance. She got high position for her father, Chief Diwan, and brother Asaf Khan was appointed as Khani-Saman. In 1612 CE, Asaf Khan's daughter Arjuman Banu Begum, later known as Mumtaz, married Jahangir's third son Prince Khurram, later Shah Jahan. Rebellion. Jahangir ruled witnessed a spat of rebellion. His eldest son, Khusru, son of Jahangir, and Manbai, daughter of Bhagwan Das, revolted but was defeated and imprisoned. The fifth Sikh Guru, Arjan Dev, was beheaded for supporting the rebel Prince Khusru. For the first 10 years after Khurram's marriage to Mumtaz Mahal, there was practically a rule of alliance of Nur Jahan, her father, her brother Asaf Khan, and Khurram. But problem arose when Nur Jahan married her daughter Ladli Begum by Sher Afghani to Jahangir's youngest son Shahryar, and now she supported him as the heir apparent. So this drove Khurram Shah Jahan into a rebellion against his father in 1622 CE, since he felt that Jahangir was completely under Nur Jahan's influence. However, some historians believe that Shah Jahan revolted against his father due to his personal ambition. Jahangir had ordered Shah Jahan to go to Khandar, which was besieged by the Persian, but Shah Jahan was afraid that the campaign would be long and difficult one, and intrigue would be hatched against him during his absence from the court. Hence, he put forward a number of unreasonable demands such as full command of the army, which included the veteran of the Deccan, complete sway over the Punjab and number of other forts, etc. He was defeated by the forces led by Muhammad Khan. However, this rebellion kept the empire distracted for 4 years, till 1626 CE, and resulted into the loss of Khandar and emboldened the Deccanese to recover all the territories surrendered to the Mughals. Mughal expansion under Jahangir. 1615 CE, Amar Singh of Mewar, son of Maharana Pratap, submitted before him. Rana's son Karan Singh was made Mansabdar in the Mughal court. In 1616 CE, with the help of Maratha Sardar, Khana inflicted a crushing defeat on the combined force of Ahmedgarh, Bijapur and Golconda. In 1620, Jahangir annexed Kangra. He was the first Muslim ruler to do so. In 1622 CE, Khandar was occupied by Shah Abbas of Persia. Conquest of Deccan. Jahangir decided to follow Akbar's expansionist policy in Deccan, but Jahangir could achieve little success in it due to certain problems. He could not devote much attention in the crucial phase due to Khurram's revolt. The Mughal nobles were also involved in a number of intrigues and conflicts in Deccan. Due to the rise of Malik Ambar in Deccan, Malik Ambar, with the help of Maratha and the ruler of Bijapur, Ibrahim Adil Shah, made it difficult for the Mughals to consolidate their position in Berar, Ahmednagar and Balaghat. After Jahangir's death in 1627 CE, Shah Jahan reached Agra with the support of noble chief Diwan Asaf Khan and the army. Shah Jahan extended the throne. Nur Jahan was given a pension and she lived a retired life till her death 18 years later. The British visited Machilipatnam during Jahangir's reign. Captain Hawkins 1608 to 1611 and Thomas Roe 1615 to 1619 CE visited his court. Thomas Roe got the farman for setting up an English factory at Surat. Highlight this. Okay, so who visited during Jahangir's reign? It was Captain Hawkins and Thomas Roe. And Thomas Roe got the farman for setting up a factory in Surat. Jahangir had a chain of justice hung around outside his palace. Jahangir mostly lived in Lahore and he forbade the killing of animals for food on Tuesday and Friday. He wrote Turk-e-Jahangiri, autobiography in Persian, in which he described his drinking habit. He also patronized valuable dictionary, Farang-e-Jahangiri. During his reign, Abdul Hamid Lahori wrote Padshah-nama and Kafi Khan wrote Muntakabi-il-Lubab. He also patronized many scholars like Ghiyasi Beg, Naqib Khan, and Nimatullah. Art and architecture during Jagir's reign. The practice of putting up buildings in marble and decorating the wall with floral design made up of semi-precious stone, known as Petradora, started during his reign. Nur Jahan built the tomb of his father Itmadullah at Agra. Jahangir built Moti Masjid in Lahore and his own Musallam at Lahore. He laid a number of gardens such as Shalimar, Nishan Gardens in Kashmir. Mughal painting reached its zenith under Jahangir. He employed a number of painters like Abdul Hassan, Bishan Das, regarded as master of portraits, Madhu, Anand, Manohar, Govardhan, Ustad Mansoor, specialist in animal painting. The use of halo or divine lights behind king's head started under him. Apart from painting the scene of hunting, battle, and royal courts, progress was made in portrait painting and painting of animals. It was under his rule that the emphasis shifted from illustrated manuscripts to the album of individual portraits. Highlight this. शाहजहाँ. सो आप शाहजहाँ के टॉपिक को डबल स्टामा कर लीजिए क्योंकि इनके ऊपर बीपीएससी में हाल ही में 2020 में सवाल पूछा गया था एंड साथ ही यूपीपीसीएस में 2010 एंड 2005 में सवाल आया था. राइट. Shahjahan, 1628 to 1658 CE, also known as Khurram, whose mother was Hindu Jagad Gosain and was married to Arjuman Banu Begum, Mumtaz Mahal. He was crowned in Agra in 1628 CE and had to face instant revolt by Bundelas under Jujhar Singh and Khan Jahan Lodi, the Mughal governor of the Deccan. Khan Jahan Lodi, with the intention of securing help in time of necessity, gave away Balaghat to the Nizam Shah, to which Shahjahan objected and ordered Khan Jahan Lodi to recover it. As the latter failed, Shahjahan recalled him to court. Khan Jahan, however, turned hostile and took shelter with Nizam Shah. This infuriated Shahjahan and he decided to follow an aggressive policy to recover the lost territories of the Deccan. Shahjahan's Deccan policy was more successful, asserting the fact that there could be no peace for the Mughal in the Deccan as long as Ahmednagar continued as an independent state. He successfully isolated Ahmednagar by winning over Bijapur and Marathas. Fatah Khan, son of Malik Ambar, also made peace with the Mughals, and Muhabbat Khan was appointed governor of Deccan. But the conflict with Deccan states continued. Finally, in 1636 CE, Ahdnama treaties were signed with Bijapur and Golconda. The main point of agreement with Bijapur were Adil Shah accepted the Mughal suzerainty. He was to pay 20 lakh rupees as indemnity. He was not to interfere in the affairs of Golconda. Mughal Empire was to arbitrate in case of any future dispute between Bijapur and Golconda. Adil Shah was to help Mughals in conflict against Shahji Bhosle, father of Shivaji. In return of these, territories worth about 20 lakh khans annually belonging to Ahmednagar was ceded to Bijapur. Shahjahan completed the settlement of the Deccan by entering into a treaty with Golconda as well. According to this treaty, Golconda took oath of loyalty towards Mughal emperor. He agreed to include the name of the Mughal emperor in the Kutubah and exclude the name of Shahs of Iran. Golconda agreed to pay 2 lakh khans per year to the Mughals. These treaties ended the conflict of the Deccan. The Mughals could have a large part of southern India under their domination, and peace with the Mughal enabled the Deccani state to expand their territories towards the south. However, rapid expansion weakened the internal cohesion of the Deccan states. An ambitious noble like Shahaji and his son Shivaji in Bijapur, Mir Jumla in Golconda, started carving out spheres of influence for themselves, and this again created a conflicting atmosphere in Deccan. In 1656 CE, following the death of Muhammad Adil Shah, a distinct change came in Mughal policy, and the treaties were ignored. The justification provided by Mughal was that both these states had made extension conquest in Karnataka and that compensation was due to the Mughal on the ground that the two states were Mughal vassals, and their conquest had been made possible due to the benevolent neutrality on the part of the Mughals. Now Shahjahan asked his son Aurangzeb to conquer and annex the territories of the Deccan kingdom. However, this change did not benefit the Mughal Empire in any substantial way. In fact, it created more problems for the future. In 1632 CE, Shah Jahan defeated the Portuguese near Hooghly due to the regular abuse of trading privileges by them. In 1639, Shah Jahan secured Kandahar and immediately fortified it, but Persia wrested Kandahar from Mughal. In 1649 CE, Shah Jahan launched a prolonged campaign in the northwest frontier to recover Kandahar and other ancestral land. But the campaign failed. Gradually, Shah Jahan realizes the futility of his ambition and stopped fighting. Thus, there was a permanent loss of Kandahar. Shah Jahan's reign is considered the golden age of the Mughal Empire. He built Taj Mahal, counted amongst the seven wonders of the world and considered a jewel of the builder's art. The construction was commissioned in 1631 CE and was constructed in 22 years. The architectural design was prepared by Ustad Isa and Isa Muhammad Effendi, while the main dome was designed by Ismail Khan. Mosque building reached its peak during Shah Jahan's reign. He built the Moti Masjid at Agra, built entirely of white marble, Sheesh Mahal and Musman Burj at Agra, where he spent his last year in captivity, while the Jama Masjid at Delhi was built in red stone. So highlight the work done during the Shah Jahan's reign, है ना? स्पेशली द मॉस्क बिल्डिंग एंड द ताज महल. ठीक है, क्या बनाया था उन्होंने? जामा मस्जिद बनाया था दिल्ली में विथ रेड सैंडस्टोन, एंड वाइट मार्बल से क्या बना था? मोती मस्जिद एट आगरा. The climax of fort building reached during the reign of Shah Jahan. The famous Red Fort at Delhi with its Rang Mahal, Diwan-e-Aam and Diwan-e-Khash was his creation. He also built Jama Masjid in Delhi, Shalimar Bagh in Lahore and the city of Shahjahanabad. He also got Bidal Khan to build the Peacock Throne, on which it is inscribed the Amir Khusro's couplets, "If there is a paradise on earth, it is here." Shah Jahan also patronized many writers and historians like Inayat Khan, who wrote Shahjahanama. Highlight the writer and highlight the work done by the writer. ठीक है. So Inayat Khan ने क्या लिखा था? He wrote Shahjahanama. His son Dara Shikoh translated Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad into Persian language. Dara Shikoh ने क्या किया था? He translated Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad into the Persian language. His reign is described by French traveller Brenier and Chevenier. Italian traveller Munci Peter Mundy described famine during Shah Jahan's time. Shah Jahan's sudden illness in 1657 CE plunged the empire into civil war. 1657-1659 CE, among his four sons, who were located in the following places: Dara Shikoh, eldest and the crown prince based in Delhi, supported by Janara, the daughter of Jahangir; Shuja, the governor of Bengal; Aurangzeb, the governor of Deccan, supported by Roshanara; Murad Bakhsh, the governor of Malwa and Gujarat. At first, Shuja declared himself the emperor, but he was defeated by Suleiman Sheikh, son of Dara Shikoh, with the aid of Mirza Raja Jai Singh. Aurangzeb and Murad agreed to partition the empire and both defeated Raja Jaswant Singh, ruler of Jodhpur, and Qasim Khan at the Battle of Dharmat in 1658 CE. Later, just after a month, the Battle of Samudragar was fought between Aurangzeb and Dara, in which, due to divided counsel and underestimation of Aurangzeb by Dara, Dara Shikoh lost the battle. This practically decided the issue of succession. Aurangzeb also treacherously imprisoned Murad and sent him to Gwalior jail, where he was killed 2 years later. Aurangzeb soon crowned himself with the title of Alamgiri, conqueror of the world, but the civil war continued for more than 2 years. In 1658 CE, the Battle of Khwaja near Allahabad was fought between Aurangzeb and Shuja, in which again Aurangzeb emerged victorious. The Battle of Devrai, 1659 CE, was the last major battle Dara fought against Aurangzeb, in which he was again defeated and he had to flee to Afghanistan. On his way in the Bolan Pass, a treacherous chief imprisoned him and handed him over to Aurangzeb, who had him executed, and later his son Suleiman Sheikh too. Interestingly, after the Battle of Devrai, the second coronation of Aurangzeb happened. Aurangzeb made Shah Jahan prisoner in Agra fort, where he was looked after by his daughter Janara till the death in 1666 CE. Aurangzeb emerged victorious in this struggle. He entered Agra fort after defeating Dara and forced Shah Jahan to surrender. Shah Jahan was confined to the Agra fort and put under vigil. But he was not ill-treated. Shah Jahan lived for 80 long years, lovingly nursed by his daughter Janara. He died in 1666 CE and was buried beside his wife's grave in Taj Mahal. The financial bickering between father and the son from the last part of Aurangzeb's correspondence, known as Adab-e-Alamgiri. So that's all for the day. In the next chapter, we'll start with Aurangzeb. So keep on watching Ghatna Sutra. See you next time.